My view of the world, take one. Oh, why Hamas was so evil. Why gun owners have no sensitivity after a mass shooting. Going crazy. I just wanted to mention this one little video to let you see behind the evils and also the ones of the mass shooting of Maine too.
Happening to the brain when you have lead poisoning. And is there
gunpowder has lead in it?
I'm Anna, and this is gross science. Lead messes with our brains in a few different ways. But to understand what they are, let's look how
mass bombing by HAMAS has lead in it.
And I promise
the bombs
this will be
behind
short,
it.
Sweet, and hopefully deeply enlightening. Okay, so neurons have a long tail called an axon at one end and branch-like structures called dendrites at the other. They talk to each other when the axon from one cell sends chemical signals to another cell's dendrites. The receiving cell can then pass the message on to yet another neuron. And all that communicating happens in this tiny gap between the cells called the synapse. One thing lead can do is block those chemical signals from being sent, which sounds bad enough.
But the guy who did the mass shootings in Maine, he worked for a recycling plant. Did he handle toxic chemicals that cause his brain to go haywire? Anyhow, and also Hamas, the same thing. They handle lots of explosions before they did the attack. Imagine how the lead in these people have affected their brains, which the media won't talk about because they're controlled by so few. And as I mentioned about the lead in brains affecting the empathy of people, not only for the explosions, because when people handle high capacity guns, their brains get pushed into the front like a car accident. It damages their empathy part. That's why conservative people on the radio have no capacity of empathy, because their brains are damaged by such powerful gun practicing. That's why people with guns will always talk about the Second Amendment, even with the tragedies that happens in our communities from mass shootings. They have no capacity for empathy because of the lead and the whiplash caused by their powerful guns. We could figure out a way to put a man on the moon. Why can't we figure out a way to have technology, especially from the research from military science, to be able to keep guns only those of law-abiding citizens, like these Second Amendment people want to say? Why not? Let's talk about these issues. Gun practices, their brains are pushed to the front like some of the football players, and it damages their thinking part. And that's why they have no capacity, especially combined with the lead. That's why they come out and say, oh, we don't have any empathy towards the mass shootings at schools, etc. I bet their brains are affected. They have lead in their blood. The same thing happens in Hamas people. They've been affected by the brains of the explosions in the tunnels and stuff like that created the lead, the gases and stuff like that in the tunnels. And that's why they don't have any empathy. And that's what we need to research. Now, once we research that and figure out, oh, the lead in these high capacity guns and also the whiplash is why we have created a society. Talk radio show host like Sean Hannity has no capacity, no empathy. How many guns have he fired off, which has affected his brain to have empathy for others? That's it. So just something to think about.